And now, it's time for KGTX7 News. With Leela Sims, Joshua Cluette, Natalie Jernigan, Stephen Bernardoni, and Pat O'Reilly.
My name is Pat O'Reilly with KGTX7 News. Today, we have a real special story. We have a story that kind of overlaps with our Legal Digest and our Autorific segment. So what we're going to talk about today is disputed liability claims. And so if you've ever had a wreck and no one's taking responsibility for it, we're going to get some really good practical advice from a licensed attorney today. And so we're not only going to talk about disputed liability, but we're going to talk about that dash cam that we previously did a story on and how that may be very helpful if you're in an accident. Thank you so much for joining us today. So as I had said, this is not only helping us with our Legal Digest segment, but also our Autorific. So these two kind of intersect today, no pun intended. So today, as we're talking about disputed liability, let's first of all start out. So what's the name of your law firm?
The name of my law firm is Boswell Law Firm, and it's my pleasure to be here today. And if they want to give us a call here, it's 832-919-6595.
Great. Thank you very much. So we're going to talk about disputed liability. So being a licensed adjuster and you're an attorney, sometimes we're on opposing sides, right? So today we're talking about if you're in a wreck and you have two parties. I like to say I was going to write a song one time about who hit who. Because being a licensed adjuster, you hear all those stories about, I didn't do it, you did it. No, I didn't do it, you did it. And so with that in mind, if we have a disputed liability claim from a legal perspective, how should someone handle that when they're in a position of a disputed liability claim and they're saying it's really not my fault and they're adamant about that? From a legal perspective, what should they do?
The first thing they should do is when the impact occurs, make sure you document everything if you're able. If you can get out of the car and you can take photographs, you can take video, you can, get names of anybody that might have seen something. That's where the case would really start and where you really start building your evidence. Of course, if you've got that handy dash cam in your car, that's really going to tell the story for you and be very, very helpful.
Okay, so document. And then make sure you're gathering all the information you could possibly get. And if there's any witnesses, make sure you get their name and their contact information. And so what about taking pictures of any type of accident scene? And should you take pictures of both vehicles, meaning the other driver and your own?
Yes, you should take pictures of both cars and the scene as much as you can. That way you can also document weather conditions. You can document what's going on around. If we're at an intersection, what the lights look like. And once again, anything on the cars, I would take pictures not only of where the damage occurred in the accident, but the rest of the cars as well. So you can only document if we have more damage on the car for maybe another impact. So you can say, do we have somebody that's... somebody that likes to hit people a lot with their car, that might also help you with your liability.
Yeah, so like one of these drivers that are kind of the professional accident drivers and that's real because you get out there and some of these drivers, that's what they do. They go out looking for a wreck so they can file a claim and get some money off the insurance companies. And so being a licensed adjuster, I can just remember these drivers that are out there doing that and they've got their techniques for one, cut you off. You slam on the brakes and then you have a collision and it's, you were tailgating me when you really weren't. Mm-hmm. And so you also brought up another point, and that is the accident scene. So sometimes they'll say they had a protected term. So they had a green arrow. Well, that intersection may not have that kind of light. So if I'm hearing what you're saying is that as the driver of a vehicle, when you don't believe it's your fault, you need to make certain that you collect all the evidence you can to strengthen your argument, strengthen your case, so that when someone says, for instance, I had a protected green light, you already have pictures of the accident scene, and the adjuster or the attorney can immediately say, no, that intersection doesn't have any such light.
That's correct. The more information that you can provide about the time of the accident, the better. And we don't want to rely on just eyewitness accounts of what happens or even your own memory. It's been proven time and time again that our memories aren't the best at recalling specifically, but videos don't lie.
Yeah. Good point. Perfect segue into this beautiful little dash cam here. Okay, so this dash cam is about $50 or so, and you can get them ranging anywhere from $30, $40 all the way up to several $100s. So when you have this little $50 device mounted in your car, which also has a rear dash cam so you can hitch the rear window, from a lawyer perspective, how valuable is the video on this camera?
Dash cameras are golden for any kind of liability claim, because it will say exactly what was happening. Because even as a driver, sometimes we may think that we weren't at fault. But when we go back and we see video, you might actually have been the one at fault in the accident. And the opposite is true too. So having a video, especially one that will date and timestamp, will really show what was happening at that time and not rely on our memories.
Yeah. And also, when we're talking about a disputed liability claim, those claims don't get closed quickly. And so an accident is traumatic for most folks, especially if you have personal injury or even if it's a fatality accident. And so when you're going through that claims process and it's a disputed liability claim, it's going to bog it down. And I know from working for an insurance company, the joke was the only good claim is a closed claim. And so they measure cycle time. They want to get the check cut, some of them anyway, want to get the check cut so that they can get that claim closed and get the claimant or the insured taken care of, because it's about their reputation. And so when it bogs it down, it really doesn't benefit anyone whatsoever. Is that correct?
It's correct. What ends up happening is the insurance company may actually close the claim prematurely as a he said, she said situation. And then we're going to be bogging up the court system with the case, because now we're going to have to go to a court to determine liability.
Yeah, that's a really good point, is how long does it take to resolve a disputed liability claim? And then you're not only bringing in your insurance carrier, who will have to do we got this big word in the insurance and the legal field is subrogation. So that simply means that if I wreck into your car and it's really my fault, but I'm saying, no, I'm not going to pay for it, then they just fix your car and then they come after me. That's subrogation, saying you're going to pay the bill to fix your car because it's your fault. So now you got the subrogation process, which most states have the mediation laws where you don't go into the court for the next 10 years fighting over $5 type of thing. So the subrogation process slows it down. Then if there's litigation, and so it's just really, no one really wins in all of that. It just gets very expensive. But when we're talking about a little dash cam like this at $50, it really pays for itself.
It really does. It definitely removes that he said, she said. And we know that there are people out there that aren't honest. And so they may intentionally make up what happened just so that they don't have a claim against their insurance. And then their rates will go up. Yeah. And that's really what they're focused on, not doing what's right.
Yeah, and that's a real good point, because quite often a driver doesn't want to take responsibility for the claim because they're scared that all of a sudden my insurance premiums are going to go up. And if I tell them it was my fault, then my bills go up. So I'm just going to perhaps, kind of embellish or whatever I need to do so that when it goes through underwriting next year, they don't see a chargeable claim and now your premiums go up. And so they're kind of wanting to control that premium, and that sometimes kind of gives them an incentive to be dishonest. So
Exactly.
So, well, I'll tell you what, so you got a very interesting perspective today. So you got the license adjuster and you got the attorney. And so you got two different perspectives. And so I hope that all of this information that we've provided will be helpful to you. So if you're out there driving with one of these little dash cams in your car, you can feel somewhat protected because you have this that's going to tell the story for you. And again, you can get the rear dash cam installed as well, so you're covered front and rear, not just having a front-facing dash cam. If anything happens behind the car, that's recorded as well, because some of those accidents do occur behind you. So once again, I very much appreciate your perspective. I think we've given our viewers something that can really help them. So thank you for joining us today.